Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Eulalia Lopez, 10.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. Ms. Lopez, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations, one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. It's a Class 3 felony, one count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor, one count of possession or use of dangerous drugs, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference August 8th, 8:31 a.m., preliminary hearing August 12th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. And Ms. Lopez, I am setting bond in the amount of $75,000. That is a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $75,000 would be $7,500. If you pay that bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates. You'll see pretrial services for supervision, and you will have an electronic ankle monitor installed. You also have the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're not to possess any weapons. You must obey the terms of any order of protection or injunction against harassment that has been issued or which may be issued, and you must submit to DNA testing at the arresting police department. Ms. Lopez, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. All right, before I see Ms. Lyons, I've got to take care of one slight thing.
Yes,
Just the battery, maybe?
No.
We don't need it? Okay. All right, Lisa Lyons and then Kimberly Heisey will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Lisa Marie Lyons.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons. Ms. Lyons, you are here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations, one count of aggravated domestic violence, a Class 5 felony, one count of assault, a Class 1 misdemeanor, one count of disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor, one count of criminal damage, a Class 2 misdemeanor. I have appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference on August 8th, 8:31 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Preliminary hearing August 12th, 8:31 a.m. Ms. Lyons, I am setting bond amount of $15,000. It's a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $15,000 would be $1,500. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, comply with supervision, and you will have an ankle monitor installed. You also are promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're not to possess any weapons. You must find an alternative residence, provide proof of the same to the court, and you must obey the terms of any order of protection or injunction against harassment that has been issued or which may be issued. You may have no contact with the alleged victim for any reason, even if he contacts you first, and you cannot reside at the same location as an alleged victim, even if you are an owner or renter of the residence. You're entitled to one civil standby. That's where you contact local law enforcement, schedule a time to meet an officer who will escort you to the residence so you can obtain your essential belongings. Ms. Lyons, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, Honor.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kimberly Heisey and then Stephen Burwell will be on deck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Kimberly Heisey, my...
Thank you, Ms. Heisey. Ms. Heisey, you're here on 2 Superior Court failure to appear warrants. You have a status conference scheduled August 12th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. I have appointed you an attorney. If you'll please wait just a moment, Ms. Heisey.
Sorry.
So I am affirming bond. It's a cash-only bond, the amount of $2,000 in each of these. Total is $4,000. Cash-only means you have to pay that full amount. I believe you can work with a bail bonding company or another lending institution. However, I don't know what their terms would be. So if you pay your bonds, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, comply with supervision, and you will have an ankle monitor installed. You also must comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Plus, you're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with any alleged victims, complainants, or witnesses, or have any physical contact with any alleged victims. You're also not to possess any weapons, and you must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Ms. Heisey, you have a question?
Yes, I live in California, and I was here to pick up my truck and trade for another truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I'm here, because that's my truck I got arrested with. And the 2 warrants I had before, that was a long time ago, and they took my kids, my 2 sons did the time for that, and when I went to fly on a plane, they made sure that was clear for me to fly on a plane. Because they wouldn't even let me on the plane unless that was clear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, and what I'd say about that, ma'am, is that's not a good way to figure out whether you still have a warrant, is deciding whether you can get on an airplane.
But then my mom called down there and they said I was all clear, and I was all clear to get on the plane and everything. All them charges were dropped. And
okay, but again, if you're calling like an airline or something like that, that's not a good way to figure out if your charges are dropped. You should reach out to the court.
My mom reached out to the court.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you then, because if you had...
If I would have known I had those, Your Honor, I would have came and took care of them.
Yeah.
I don't run from the courts.
Well, the problem is, ma'am, I mean, so going back to 2015, the issue is...
That's what I moved to
There was
California.
a warrant issued, then there was a motion to quash filed, so you knew that there was a warrant. There was a motion to quash filed, however, at the hearing... then you didn't show up at the hearing. This is back in June of 2015 for that motion to quash, and so it never actually went away. If you'd gone to the website, you would have seen, like just the Superior Court website, you would have seen that the cases were still active.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Because right after they said it was cleared, I moved to California, and that's where I've been working and having I live by myself. And I have like 15 dogs I take care of.
Yeah. Yeah, so Ms. Heisey, again, I don't know where you got the information that it was cleared, because if you had called the courts, I'm quite confident they would not have told you that these were cleared.
Because I would have took care of those, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I swear I would have. I would have never went anywhere without taking care of those. That depends on my whole life, you know?
No, I hear you, Ms. Heisey, and I wish the history was different, because again, the problem is that
I need to go home.
You missed court, and then your attorney filed a motion to quash, saying, "Hey, wait a minute, give us another chance," and then you didn't go to court the next time. And so that's the issue. And so
my dogs are home by themselves, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I wish the situation was different, Ms. Heisey. Unfortunately, I mean, again, I know that these are really old, but I'm really not in a position to change these.
I'll pay a fine or whatever.
Well, no, you can pay the bond in order to be released.
That's a lot. I can't come up with $2,000.
Well, I understand, ma'am. I'm more than willing.
I had to get my truck.
Yeah. No, Ms. Heisey, I wish the situation is different. I'm just not in the position that I can change.
Okay, what about my truck, Your Honor? My truck was in my name, and all of a sudden they arrested me for my truck, saying that my truck ain't in my name. It's in my name. My truck's my truck.
Well, the only thing that I'm seeing here is that you were stopped because. For no registration.
Tag. Yeah, a paper tag was on the back of my truck from the guy that had it.
Yeah.
So and I bought it back.
So I'm not saying that you're here on any charges for not having proper registration, but you may be seen in another court about that. I don't know.
So what do I do, Your Honor?
So in order to be released, you have to pay the $4,000. However, Ms. Heisey, you cannot go back to California at this time because you have an ankle monitor.
$400. I mean, that's a lot of money. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just paid $1,000 for my truck, and you guys took it.
Yeah. So, Ms. Heisey, another judge can modify these. Again, I'm just not in the position that I'm able to change these.
Can I get in court like tomorrow or something?
No, unfortunately, August 12th is the earliest.
Oh my God, my dogs.
So, ma'am, if you have a friend or family member...
I can't even get to my phone. That's all my numbers. I don't remember no phone numbers in my head. It's all in my phone.
Well, so
I have nobody to watch my dog because nobody knows I'm here.
Right. So, Ms. Heisey, and again, I'm sorry that you're in this situation. I am more than willing to reach out to the animal control where you live.
Can I get my phone?
No, we can't release phones.
Can I get some numbers out of it?
We're not able to do that, ma'am. So again, Ms. Heisey, I am more than willing to reach out to the animal control where you live.
Can you lower the bell?
I can't.
Please. gonna do?
Okay.
Huh?
She's a female.
All right. Well, good luck to you, Ms. Heisey.
No help.
Stephen Burwell and then Ryan Thornton will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Stephen Burwell, 10.
Thank you, Mr. Burwell. Mr. Burwell, you're here on 2 Superior Court probation violation warrants for alleged violations of terms 3 and 5. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing August 9th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Burwell, I am affirming bond amount of $500 in each warrant. Total bond is $1,000. It's a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. 10% of $1,000 would be $100. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Mr. Burwell, do you have any questions?
When was the next court date? I'm sorry.
It's August 9th.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ryan Thornton and then Takari Williams will be on deck. Good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Ryan Thornton.
Thank you, Mr. Thornton. Mr. Thornton, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegations. 1 count of possession or use of narcotic drugs and 1 count of possession or use of dangerous drugs. Both Class 4 felonies, also 1 count of possession or use of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference August 8th, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing August 12th, 8:31 a.m. That's at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Thornton, you are on warrant status in your probation matter, so I am setting a $500 bond in this case. You have a $500 bond in your probation case. Just as you're aware, Mr. Thornton, if you were in compliance with probation, I almost certainly would have released you on this. That's why it's so important to stay in compliance with probation. Check in with your probation officer, do the things that they're requiring. If you make a mistake, just always best just to go right to the probation officer about that. Because again, you're building a history that's going to determine if there are, if you do make a mistake, you get arrested on a new charge about whether you'd be able to be released or not. So that would have been my preference, but again, unfortunately, it's been a long time since you've checked in with probation. Total bond is $1,000. It is a secured appearance bond. You can pay it directly or work with a bail bonding company. They generally require 10% plus collateral. That would be $100. If you pay your bond, you will be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Then, Mr. Thornton, regarding your probation violation warrant, this is for alleged violations of terms 3, 5, 7, and 15. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing August 9th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. As I stated, bonds in the amount of $500 with those same conditions and restrictions of release. Mr. Thornton, do you have any questions? All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Takari Williams and then Rochelle Tsosi will be on deck. All right, good afternoon, sir. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Takari Eugene Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams, you're here on a Superior Court new case. I find probable cause for the allegation. 1 count of unlawful flight from law enforcement on a vehicle. It's a Class 5 felony. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a status conference August 8th, 8:31 a.m. Preliminary hearing August 12th, 8:31 a.m. That'll be at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Mr. Williams, I am setting a bond in the amount of $500 in your case. It's a secured appearance bond, meaning you can pay that directly or work with a bail bonding company. Because the amount's less than $1,000, some companies may not work with that number. My understanding is that there are some that will, but I don't know what their terms will be. If you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. Plus, you must admit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department. Mr. Williams, do you have any questions?
No.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Rochelle Tsosi and then Kenneth Adams will be on deck. All right, good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state your name and provide your date of birth?
Rochelle Sosi.
Ms. Sosi. Ms. Sosi, you're here on a Superior Court probation violation warrant. Actually, this is for failure to appear. I've appointed you an attorney. You have a probation hearing scheduled August 9th, 8:30 a.m. at the downtown Phoenix Superior Courthouse. Ms. Sosi, I have set bond in the amount of $500 in your case. It is secured appearance. That means you can pay that amount directly or work with a bail bonding company. Because it's less than $1,000, some companies may not work with that number. I believe that there are some that will. So if you pay your bond, you'll be released. You're then promising to go to court on all of your court dates, and you're promising to comply with the standard conditions and restrictions of release. In addition, you're not to possess any weapons. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol. You must submit to fingerprinting at the arresting police department, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Sosi, do you have any questions?
What court date did I miss?
It looks like this was back on June 27th, so...
I was in Florence Court Civic. They didn't pull me out for that.
Okay. So it looks like you were released back on June 20th.
Because, yeah, I came in on, like, the 23rd in Florence.
So you were released June 20th on your own recognizance, and then June 27th was your court date, and you didn't show up to court that day. You were saying you were at Core Civic?
Yeah, I got there, like, on the 23rd.
Okay.
I did 45 days in Core Civic. I've been there ever since, like, the 23rd.
All right. Ms. Sosi, if I switch this to an unsecured bond, that would allow you to be released today.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then, is there anything, do you know of any other cases that you might have that would prevent you from going to court on August 9th?
No.
Okay. So if I do this, again, you don't have to pay anything today, and if you go to court on the 9th, the $500 bond gets wiped out, so you don't have to pay a penny of it. So you don't pay anything today, you get released today, and you go to court on the 9th, the $500 gets erased, you don't have to pay any of that.
Perfect.
So if I do this, will you promise to go to court on August 9th?
Yes.
Okay. I will do that. Again, same conditions and restrictions that I stated before. Let me just make a note here.
And it'll have the address for the court?
It will. It'll have the downtown Phoenix address. Make sure you get in touch with your probation officer within 72 hours. If for some reason you don't know who your probation officer is, go down to a probation office. That way you can get in touch with them, or they'll put you in contact with your probation officer.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just want to make sure. All right. You're welcome. Thank you, Ms. Sosi. Good luck to you. All right. We're going to take